What is up, though, Lions fans? It's your boy Motor City Don P back here once again, and you already know what it is when you see me in front of TV. One thing's for certain, and three things are for sure. Number one, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, number, and not none of that static. That's number two. And number three, perhaps the most important number of them all, number three. We want to make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and you may be asking yourself, how, Don? How, Mr. P, does one keep their Lions news pragmatic? Well, it's a simple answer, and I'm glad you asked. All you have to do is smash like button, subscribe, and share. And whatever order you've done it in, you've done it, and you've kept your Lions news pragmatic. And speaking of sharing, sharing is caring. So when you share it with your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, your sisters, your mothers, your brothers, your sisters, your uncles, your aunties, your cousins, your sisters, you name it, you have indeed cared about those people. What up, though, everyone in the chat? We got Ship God up in here. We got Mr. Morale 313. We got Paul Thomas up in here. We got Brent DeWitt. We got David Gilbert. What up, though, everybody? What is happening? What is happening, Paul Thomas? I can cook a mean whatever it is that I'm cooking. Am I an official chef? No. But you know what I'm saying, I can throw down, you know what I'm saying, I got some things to do, you know, in the kitchen a little bit. But, you know, that's neither here nor there. What's up, everybody? Look, we got some things to get into today. You know, Dan Campbell spoke on the flagship today, and he talked about being good. Sometimes, and here's the thing that I'm kind of understanding now. Self-awareness extends throughout. Dan Campbell may be self-aware enough as a head coach. He may be self-aware enough as a person. He may be self-aware enough as a leader of men. But I feel like this statement, we're good, he's not self-aware about that statement. Because he keeps saying it. And when he says it, bad things happen. Case in point, he said, we're good. Now Cash Doll is wearing Philadelphia Eagles attire. If y'all don't know who Cash Doll is a rapper from Detroit who went up on stage in a Zadarius Smith Detroit Lions jersey because the plan was for Zadarius Smith to come back to the Detroit Lions. And whether it was taken out of context or not, the fact of the matter is he said it. Whether he said we're good right now, shouldn't have said any of these things. He should have just said, well, we've been in contact with Zadarius, so we'll let you know when there's an update. How can you misconstrue that? How? You can't. Nobody in Zadarius' camp would have been upset if you would have said that. But you said we good. In whatever context you said we good in, we good. Right? And for those of you that don't understand why we good is such a bad term, you know what I'm saying? We are the type of people, we'll take some words and we'll use them in a way and they'll be the opposite of their meaning, right? She bad. What that mean? That means she's good, right? Oh, that dunk was crazy. Crazy is a bad thing, right? But it just means it was insanely good. So when we say we good, I'm gonna give you 5 examples. Say, man, you want one of these Vegemite sandwiches? Nah, dog, I'm good. Say, man, me and the boys, we about to go have a night on the town. Who are the boys? Oh, you know the dudes that just got home from prison. Nah, I'm good. I'm good. Say, man, you want to buy some of this Fosachi? No, I'm good. I'm good. Right? Say, man, you want to try this 5-alarm chili? No, I'm good. Say, man, would you rather get punched in the head by Mike Tyson or kicked in the head by a kangaroo? I'm good on both of those. You see what I mean? I'm good, we good is not what you're saying in the situation with Zadarius Smith. So now, and I'm going to get to your comments in a minute. Y'all know I am. Now, Dan Campbell goes on the flagship, Jim Costa and them boys, and he's talking, and they ask him about the defensive end depth. They didn't even ask him about defensive line depth. They said defensive end depth after they asked him about Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport is a whole nother tub of fish. Okay? There's no updates on Marcus Davenport, and he said he probably won't know until the end of the week. That's not a good sign. Marcus Davenport, if you don't know, is seeking second opinions. The end of the week is the game against the Baltimore Ravens. We need to know if you playing before then, brother. So that's probably not going to be good. So then they ask him about the depth of that position. My man said, we're good. Brad made some acquisitions after training camp. You can't be talking about El Qadim Muhammad because El Qadim Muhammad is now your de facto starter, which I said to people. I said this to people. Like, it was right before week 1. I said this to people. I said, you might need to be prepared to go El Qadim Muhammad and Hutch for a large chunk of the year. That doesn't mean I'm clairvoyant. That doesn't mean I can see the future. It just means I look at the past and see a man that's been in the league for 7 years and ain't never stayed healthy, not once. But Brad Holmes couldn't do that. Brad Holmes was like, well, just because somebody has an injury history, it doesn't mean that they're going to get injured again. The body, Brad, the body does this, right? If you injure something in your body, it is likely to become re-injured more than something that was completely healthy in your body. Now, when you get injured, what happens is that thing does come back stronger, okay, at times, but also it is prone to re-injury. Okay? Again, we work out, we lift weights, our muscles tear, and then they come back together and they come back bigger. Right? That's how you lift weight. That's how you get bigger. You know what I'm saying? That's it. That is the crux of everything. Okay? But if you're tearing the muscle in a way in which it's not supposed to be torn, aka injure yourself, then that particular part of the body is more likely to be injured again. Marcus Davenport's problem is that every part of his body is likely to be injured. Not his fault. Great. Fine. Okay. But since it's not his fault, and since there's nothing that he can really do about it, I mean, was I lied to? I was told that Marcus Davenport is working on his durability. I was told I've not seen this player take a day off this entire offseason. I was told that Marcus Davenport we should believe in him and he's going to get through the season. And now he's down with a mystery illness. A mystery illness. Shout out if you know, use the hashtag. So since we knew this about Marcus Davenport, we should have gotten some depth. And we got El Quadin Muhammad, and El Quadin Muhammad has done well. Now he's going to be a full-time starter for however long. Because if you're talking about waiting till the end of the week, I don't think that Marcus Davenport is going to play this week. I would be very, very, very surprised if he did. So now what we're going to say is, oh, we're good because Brad made some acquisitions. Who are these acquisitions? I want to know. Tell me, what are their names? Dan Campbell, you didn't even say their names. You didn't say their names, Dan. Say Tyrus Wheat. I dare you. I dare you to say Tyrus Wheat. Oh my God, I dare you to say Tyrus Wheat. Say Tyrus Wheat. Say it, Dan. Come on, say Tyrus Wheat. Say Tyus Lacey. Say the names of these people who have played nothing, who have been healthy scratches both weeks, who have not offered you anything because they have been healthy scratches. Am I crazy? Am I being misled? Am I being lied to? But Dan Campbell would like you to believe that we are good. Because we have Tyus Lacey and Tyrus Wheat. Tyrus the virus, some call him. It seems as though he does have a virus because he ain't playing. Is he sick? I was told he's healthy and scratched. Anyway, let me get to some of your comments. All right. Got a lot of comments, so bear with me now. Stay with me now. If you're in the chat, stay with me now. Stay with me now. Make sure y'all smash that like button too. All right. We got, he said he hit the, Shiv God said he hit the usher on us this morning. We good at Edge, says Paul Thomas. Shiv God said we good. Lamar will make him regret it Monday night, I'm afraid. Yes. Yes, he will. Like, I had an interaction with a Ravens fan on Twitter, and he was trying to troll me. And I was like, brother, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I have a healthy fear of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. I'm not going to lie to you. You know? And he's talking about, I saw a Lions fan turn his jersey inside out last time y'all was at M&T. I said, oh, you mean the time where we went to the NFC Championship game and should have gone to the Super Bowl? You mean that year? I was like, a lot of times, and we're going to talk about this a little bit later, right? A lot of times regular season games don't matter as much. So then he was like, oh, well, this ain't about what should have happened. This is about talking trash to the Lions. I was like, okay, well, you do you, buddy. I'm not about to sit up here and go back and forth with you. MCDC was right. We are good. Problem is that good teams don't win a Super Bowl. We need to be great. Facts, Brent DeWitt, that is a bar. You can drop the mic. Whatever mic you have, Brent, make sure you drop it. Tesla is good, says JD. What up, though? We usually win in prime time. So, yeah, okay, we'll see. Hopefully it's a unstoppable force meeting an immovable object, and we'll just have to see what the results are and let the chips fall where they may. Davenport, second opinions when his first opinion was from a top-notch doctor who treats pro athletes. Sigh, right? Second opinion doesn't usually bode well. Okay, so the only time a second opinion really works out in the favor of the athlete is when the athlete is disputing with the team and the team wants him to do something that he's not comfortable with. Like the team wants him to get surgery. The team wants him to shut it down, right? Look at Kawhi Leonard and his situation with the Spurs, where the team didn't want him to shut it down, didn't want him to get surgery, just wanted him to rehab at the facility and go back and play. And he was like, nah, something don't feel right. I'm pretty sure they want Marcus Davenport to play. I know Dan Campbell wants him to play. I know Brad Holmes wants him to play because it's not about jobs, but saving face, because Brad Holmes came out and was like, I don't know. Sixth round, is that good enough? I don't know. Y'all been on my ass. And now your sixth rounder is also injured, guy. But so everybody wants Marcus Davenport to play. Marcus Davenport wants to play. Now they're getting a second opinion. Because the first opinion probably said, you're done. Brad too's complacent, but as half of our fan base likes to do, they don't call him out for it. Oh, so we're calling him out over here. Because here's the thing. You can love what Brad Holmes has done for you as a Detroiter for your franchise. You can love Brad Holmes for Brian Branch. You can love Brad Holmes for Sam Laporta. You can love Brad Holmes for Jared Goff and believing in him. You can love Brad Holmes for Jameson Williams. You can love Brad Holmes for Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can love Brad Holmes for Jahmyr Gibbs. You can love Brad Holmes for David Montgomery. You can love Brad Holmes for Isaac Tesla. You can love him for so much of this roster that makes a difference, that makes us Super Bowl contenders, but you also can point out the fact that he has fallen short on the other side of Hutch. And it doesn't mean that you're not a fan of his. All of us content creators, most of us content creators, because I know one in particular who's a fan of himself. It's probably not even a fan of the Lions. Okay? Most of us content creators are fans of the team. So when we criticize Brad Holmes, it's because we are fans of the team and we want the team to win a Super Bowl. I'm not alone in the fact when in 2023, when I was watching my team beat the brakes off the San Francisco 49ers, I was trying to get into the mode where I was like, I can't believe this. We are about to go to the Super Bowl. I was like, what should I do? I don't know what to do with my hands. Should I cry? What should I do? And then the second half happened and all of that was a moot point. But that's where this is coming from. This is coming from fandom. This is not coming from hate of Brad Holmes. Why do we hate Bob Quinn and Fatty Matty Patty? Because they ruined the team. Why do we hate anybody? Because they ruined the team. Because we love the Detroit Lions. Most of us are from Detroit. We want to see our team win. We want to have bragging rights. We want to be able to tell the whole rest of the NFL, kiss the rings, biatch. Go, come look at our trophy case. Come. It's got Lombardis in it. That's what we want to do as fans of the football team. So, yes, I definitely will criticize Brad Holmes when he is not doing something which is glaring. Everybody and their mother, okay? Everybody and their mother could have told you that this is the way it was going to work out with Marcus Davenport. Actually, everybody and their mother did tell you this. But see, Brad Holmes, he took it the wrong way, and he started getting snippy with the media and snappish, and he was upset that he was getting asked about this question. Well, you're getting asked this question because in the 5 years that you have been here, you've gotten us Hutch and nobody else. You got Zadarius Smith, who is a two-time All-Pro, and you cut him over a few dollars. And he never had the opportunity to play with Hutch because you cut him over a few dollars. It's laughable. Like, if y'all don't know, Zadarius Smith has a $2 million contract, people. $2 million is what's guaranteed on his deal. Everything else is incentives. What was the holdup? What was the problem? And now that Marcus Davenport is literally, Dan Campbell said this morning, literally, there's no updates. And that he won't know until the end of the week. He said that out of his mouth. I love AQM. But I'm also going to tell you, AQM, prior to being signed by the Detroit Lions last year, had 0 offers and was on his couch. You know how I know he had 0 offers? Because El Qadim Muhammad told you that he had 0 offers. When they asked him after he was signed, oh, did you how did you pick the Lions? Did you have to go through other offers? No, I didn't have any other offers. So he plays hard, but he's a role player. We didn't ask you for a superstar, but we wanted a serviceable starter. And then you got a guy who, he's 33 years old, but he played 20 snaps in his debut without even really practicing with the team. No training camp, nothing, and still had a half a sack. So, do with that what you will. All right, get to some more of these things, and I can stop crashing out over Marcus Davenport, and we're going to talk about the Ravens. Boy, I don't want to talk about the Ravens, but we're going to have to do it. Said this will be a very critical trade deadline for him, to be honest. Facts. Love AQM is a great depth piece. Let's see what he does versus the Ravens. Then I'll believe. Versus Chicago, don't mean squat. LOL. That is facts. JD, I don't smoke, so I ain't gonna smoke. I ain't gonna drink. Let's see what other comments y'all got. Brad is way too cheap at edge. I don't know why. There must be a strategy around edge we don't know about. Brad's strategy is that, well, if you're not good in the interior, then nothing else matters. But I would counter that strategy with, you're right, Brad, but that doesn't mean that you completely ignore the exterior. Well, man, you got to get the interior right. If you don't get the interior, listen. Did y'all hear the press conference, the one before, when they were talking about Tyrus Wheat? And Ray Agnew was up there like, yeah, we was lucky to be able to get those guys because, there's really good players. And those guys, they're going to contribute really well to this team because those guys, you see a lot of good traits in them. And those guys, they really good players. And, we was fortunate to be able to get them from the teams we got them from the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Dallas Cowboys. Those guys are really gonna provide a lot of value to this team. And, we was lucky and fortunate to get those guys, and we can put them on the practice squad, and then they could be healthy scratches every week. And really, they're not going to do nothing. I'm just up here talking to you because, look, man, I'm the assistant GM. I ain't the regular GM. That's Brad Holmes. You got to ask him about all this. I'm just trying to support my boss and talk about what he did and the guys that he got, because the guys that he got is ass. I just listen, is his microphone off? Is the camera off? Because we about to get real candid up in here. Listen, them dudes is a 2-pack of ass. You talk about and those guys, they don't play on Sundays, and those guys, they not gonna contribute nothing. Obviously, when Aleem gets back, one of those guys is gonna be the first one to get cut. Probably Tyus Lacey, because they play the same position. And Tyrus Wheat, and what kind of last name is Wheat? Come on, talking about. I'm talking about wheat. Wheat is a grain. I'm talking about. It's like this. I don't know what else to say. Okay. I think that was a pretty good Ray Agnew impression. Y'all rate the impression in the chat. Rate the impression in the chat. 1 out of 10. 10 being excellent. 1 being a 2-pack of ass. Let me know. Did they finally say what his season-ending injury is? Nope. No updates. We ain't got nothing. I was told we didn't need Zadarius Smith. Was I lied to? Yes, you were. What up, though, Zach J? TaylorMade Media says if I were Marcus Davenport and got 100 G's and bonus cash every week to be ready to go, I would also get that doctor to sign that paper before the Lions get on the plane to Baltimore. My damn self. Yeah. Remember, he's losing money by not playing. His money is tied to him being on the roster every week. He's got money tied to that every week. Stevie Wonder sees Brad Jones, to be honest. What? What up, Will Murray? Motown Sports and Travel says no Super Bowls for you. Brad needs a White Lions Club cane for the blind. You didn't see Tyrus Wheat coming off the edge like a lightning bolt last weekend? No. That ain't right. I didn't see that. Listen, those guys, look, I'm trying to tell you, look, Tyrus Wheat, what's his name? Brad, what's his name? I don't even know his name. I'm just trying to support you up here, Brad, because you made the moves and you got those guys. You signed those guys, Brad. I don't even know. What's the name? Okay. Where he played, where that boy, he played for the Jags and the other one played for the Cowboys. Okay. Like, I just don't understand. All right. Let's do this, man. We're going to talk about the Ravens. Oh, we're going to talk about these Ravens. All right. So for any of y'all that don't understand why I'm afraid of Lamar Jackson, I think it's pretty clear why I'm afraid of Lamar Jackson. I have a healthy admiration and fear of Lamar Jackson. I am a fan of Lamar Jackson for obvious reasons. He's dynamic. He's electric. He is all the things. He's a dual threat quarterback. He can beat you with his arms, truly. He can beat you with his well, not his arms. I hope he's not throwing left and right hand. That's crazy. He can beat you with his arm, truly. He can beat you with his legs, for sure. And all they say about Lamar Jackson is his weakness is that he doesn't win in the postseason. Well, guess what? This is week 3. Brother, this ain't the postseason. Lamar Jackson in his career is 24-2 versus the NFC. We're in the NFC. The last time we went to M&T Bank Stadium, we got our asses handed to us by the Ravens. We lost by 32 points. In the last 20 years, we have not beat the Baltimore Ravens. All time, we are 1-6 versus the Baltimore Ravens. All time. This means we have played these people 7 times in the history of Everdom, and we have lost 6 of those. Okay? Paul Thomas's perfect Ray Agnew impression. You sounded like a freaking moron. Hold on now. I know you trying to take shots at him, but that make me sound bad. Said the Fords didn't draft Lamar Jackson, Randy Moss, Jim Kelly, Aaron Donald, etc. Fords are cheap. I would say the Fords didn't have anything to do with Aaron Donald. That was not Ray Agnew. That was Mark Mayhew. The GM's draft. I could understand what you were saying if you said, okay, they didn't extend them because they didn't want to pay. No, the GM's draft. And everybody in the league passed on Lamar Jackson except for the Baltimore Ravens. He was the last pick in the draft, in the first round. Okay? But the history tells you that we will not win against the Baltimore Ravens. Okay? The whole deck is stacked against us. I'm going to give you some other reasons why the deck is stacked against us. There is a path to us beating the Baltimore Ravens. I don't know what the path is, but I can guarantee you, it's going to be like Dave Chappelle when he writes jokes backwards. I'm going to get to the punchline at the end of this, and there's going to be a path, and it's going to be very clear. I'm telling you right now, I don't know the path. Because I'm just keeping it real with you. And at the end of the day, I have already picked this as a loss. When we did our schedule predictions and I told you that there was a path for the Detroit Lions to go 15-2, again, not saying that they will. The path was that you lose to the Ravens and the Eagles and you beat everybody else. That was the path. I said I wasn't afraid of, the Chiefs because we beat them in their house before. They were coming off of a Super Bowl and we beat them in their house. I told you I wasn't afraid of the Cincinnati Bengals because it's the Bengals. The Bengals are gonna bungle, and now they have to bungle without their starting quarterback. Right? I told you I wasn't afraid of the division, even though I don't typically just poo-poo the division and pick blowouts and things like that. Blowout on Sunday. But I don't do that. But I said, hey, I'm comfortable because we swept the division last season. So the path was they could beat everybody on this schedule because you got, what are the tough games for us? This schedule is a gauntlet, yes. But what are the tough games? We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, where we beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when it matters. And oh, by the way, we lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when Jared Goff threw 50 passes. But one of those passes was thrown to Sam Laporta. And they were doing MMA moves on him before the ball got there. And there was an interception that the referees turned a blind eye to. That interception right there could have changed the game because I think we lost 20-17. Hutch had 4.5 sacks that game. Okay, so if you're talking to me about beating the Buccaneers in Detroit, I don't think it's a tall task. I'm not poo-pooing their organization or their team, but I don't think it's not going to happen. You talk about the Los Angeles Rams. The last time we went to LA, we were a 2-pack of ass as a team. And still almost won. We still had an opportunity. Now we are a team that has beat the Rams the last 3 times we've played them. And I expect to do it again. So I'm confident in the rest of this schedule. So even if we lose to the Baltimore Ravens, you are not going to see me telling you how the season is over. You are not going to see me telling you about how they can't reach the playoffs or they can't, achieve their goals. You're not going to hear me telling you any of that because I don't believe it to be true. I told you at the beginning of this season that there is a path, or not the beginning, before the beginning of the season, when we did our record predictions, there is a path for the Lions to go 15-2. Now, my final prediction, I think, was 13-4. Okay? But the path is there. The path to 15-2 is a loss to the Ravens. Now, let me get back to what I was saying about other things being stacked up against us. We are a man-heavy team. Very man-heavy. You saw what happened when we tried to go zone against Chicago. You saw what Jack Campbell was doing in the middle of the field, just watching Rome Odunze. Yeah, shoot. He running fast out there to the open. Oh, God, he's open. Like, we can't have things like that against the Baltimore Ravens. We're not great at zone. So the reason that you play zone against a mobile quarterback is so you can see him. You got your back turned. Look, anybody that's ever played 7-on-7 or anybody that's ever played like backyard football when you got to count Mississippis and stuff, right? Or flag football. It's very cheesy, and it's usually stipulated in the rules before the game. No quarterback runs. Because it's very cheesy. In flag football, everybody plays man coverage. Everybody gets a man. So for you to just run go routes and everybody runs down the field, and then you've got this guy that takes off while everybody's got their back turned. Same thing happens in the NFL. If everybody has their back turned to Lamar Jackson, he is going to make you pay. So you cannot turn your back to Lamar Jackson. That's number one. Number two, AG never liked to use a spy. What I believe is that Kelvin Shepherd will change that, because Kelvin Shepherd is a former linebacker. And generally, a spy is a linebacker. So I think we're going to have a spy on Lamar Jackson, which we haven't had before. If you want to get crazy with it, tell me if you want to get freaky. Shout out, Chief said something about Usher, so I had to get in my bag. If you want to get freaky with it, you know who I would have spying Lamar? Brian Branch. I would have Brian Branch as the spy of Lamar Jackson. And I would take one of the linebackers off of the field and then put a, put another safety back there. So put Rock Ya-Sin back there with Kirby. Drop Brian Branch down as a hybrid linebacker so that he can be a spy. Okay? Now, I would say you're going to do this just on passing downs, but again, it's Lamar Jackson, who's a threat to run on down 1 through 4. The problem with this approach is if you do it too much, you've got Derrick Henry. And if Derrick Henry is running through the hole against a Brian Branch instead of a Jack Campbell, there's going to be problems. Now, Brian Branch might knock him out, but he's not going to be able to do it the entire game. So, the linebacker that I'm taking off the field is, drum roll please, Derrick Barnes. I'm taking Derrick Barnes off the field. Or Derrick Barnes is going to have to be the spy on Lamar Jackson. It's either you drop Brian Branch down and play him as a spy, or Derrick Barnes is the spy. Because despite the RAS scores, Jack Campbell doesn't have the athleticism to keep up with a Lamar Jackson. I'm sorry, it just doesn't work that way. Okay, so we're going to have a lot of difficulty with the Baltimore Ravens offense because they are going to make us play a brand and a style of defense that we are not accustomed to playing. Now, you could try to impose your will on Lamar Jackson and the Ravens, but you know what you would really need if you wanted to impose your will? A pass rush. Very consistent pass rush. Because at least at that point that you can try to force him into making some mistakes. Let me see what y'all get. Do we agree so far? Fords, to my knowledge, stay out of it. Not to my knowledge, no. Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge, no. Per Tony Dungy, we've just had piss poor GMs. Brad and his flaws still the best GM we have had. Yes, and you know who the best GM would have been with just one different move? It would have been Martin Mayhew had he just drafted Aaron Donald and not listened to Joe Lombardi's dumbass. I'm talking about I need my Jimmy Graham. I need Eric Ebron. Get out of here. Packers, Eagles, Ravens are the toughest. All right, Fords collect money. Okay, Ron. As I said, read the room, man. You just need to mute yourself. Can't spy from outside the box. That's why I'm saying you need to drop him in. You got to drop him down. That's my point. What's the secret they keeping from Marcus Davenport injury? That it's season ending, probably. That is, or he's gonna have to go on IR. That's the secret. Zach J says, "Juan, are you dyslexic?" So you mean 2-15? Got it. I agree. Branch will bring Jackson down. All right. So that's my defensive strategy. We've gotta keep a spy. It's probably going to be Derek Barnes. I've been underwhelmed by Derek Barnes this season so far, to tell you the truth. I didn't buy into them saying that Derek Barnes was going to be your third pass rusher because, again, Derek Barnes averages a whopping 1 sack per season. Whopping. Okay? That's all he averages. So if you're telling me he's your third pass rusher, I'm not comfortable with that. Not comfortable with that at all. Let's see. Motown Mitch says, I'll be spying on Lamar all night. Might as well put me in coach. What up, Motown Mitch? So that is, you can't play man all game. You got to play zone. So look for combo coverage. Look for, half of the field to be in man and the other half to be in zone. And then have a spy. This is the only way that we can say we cover all bases. That's it. You got to go combo coverage in the secondary, and you have to spy Lamar Jackson. You cannot let him run around. Okay, and the spy has to be disciplined. Right? If you want to funnel everybody to Hutch, the spy's got to make sure that if he leaks out the back, he's not letting them get up the field for any decent yardage. I haven't even spoken about Derrick Henry. I don't know what you're going to do with Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry had 11 carries for 23 yards last week, but that was against the Cleveland Browns. And love them or hate them, think they suck, think they're good, whatever the case may be. This was a divisional game. You know your opponent. You play them twice a year. You've got all the tape and film on Derrick Henry that you need. You've got all the experience that you need against Derrick Henry. So this is why they were able to get 11 carries for 23 yards. I don't think it happens for the Detroit Lions. As I've said before, I don't know what happened to their run defense last game. Hopefully it's an on-again, off-again situation. So it was on in the first week, off in the second week. So that means we're due for it to be on again in the third week. Because DeAndre Swift was averaging 5 yards per carry against you, which should not have happened. Right? It should not have happened. And I was talking about it during the game. I was like, why is this dude just ripping off this? You know what I mean? He's just ripping it. For what? What purpose? What reason is he out there doing that? So whatever issues that they have with the run game, the run defense, they need to fix it very, very quickly. Very, very quickly, my friend. Because, oh boy, you got that two-headed monster in Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry coming at you. Did I mention that Lamar can beat you with his legs and his arm? Okay. So, basically, good luck to the defense. Okay? But I did tell you I was going to come up with a plan. So, if they can execute all game this combo coverage and this spy, I think that you can somewhat limit Lamar Jackson, taking away his options, taking away read number 1, number 2, having him scramble and run into your spy for minimal gain. enough time for if you take away if you take away the first couple of reads, and you're absolutely smothering the next read because it's going to be Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, then D Hop. That's the way his reads are going to go. So if you are taking away these things, then he's got to run. By the time he's able to run, Hutch is in the backfield chasing him down. Then you've got a spy on the other side. And I'm making it sound a lot simpler than it actually is. But that is the path to slowing down Lamar Jackson and the Ravens offense. On the defensive side of the football for the Ravens, you've got Justin Matabuke. I think they've got something like 38 pressures in 2 weeks. Okay? They're going to pressure the quarterback. They're going to pressure Jared Goff. This offensive line, I know they're young. I know they're inexperienced. But if they don't step up and protect Goff, this game is going to be over very quickly. Okay? Mark Sanchez did a sit-down with Jared Goff, and it aired yesterday on YouTube. Mark Sanchez tells a story about when he was, I think he was a rookie, and they were playing Baltimore. And Nick Mangold, their all-pro center, had gotten hurt. So when Mangold was in there, they had a certain protection scheme, right? So he knew that, when they came short, the protection would slide out to the flats, and he would be able to adjust himself accordingly. Well, he said when Mangold was hurt, he was expecting this to happen, and whoever was the backup didn't have everybody slide out to the flats. So he said, they were in their own territory. Before he knew it, he snapped the ball. Before he knew it, Ed Reed was readjusting his neck, and they were going into the end zone for a pick six, first play of the game. So this is going to be paramount. None of those communication issues that we had in week 1 can happen Monday night. Because if you have any communication issues along the offensive line, I just told you the blueprint of what Mark Sanchez said could happen. Okay? Now, the thing about the difference between Mark Sanchez and Jared Goff is that Jared Goff and his wide receivers and running backs understand the language of checkdowns. They understand who's the hot read, who's the mic, who's this, all that. And they will talk about this stuff in the huddle. Okay? So when they break the huddle and they come out, Jahmyr Gibbs is yelling out checks. Amon-Ra St. Brown is yelling out checks. Not to everyone else, but to Jared Goff, so that he knows, okay, if you got, an option route here, and you're looking at the coverage, Amon-Ra St. Brown has told you to check, right? You got a blitzer coming from his side or whatever, so he's going to run a little quick slant on the inside so you can catch him. So they've got these games that they're going to play at the line of scrimmage, and I think it's going to be a chess match because it's not just a chess match between Johnny Moe and who's their defensive coordinator? Who's the Ravens defensive coordinator? I know their offensive coordinator is Todd Monken. Who's their defensive coordinator? He played in the league. It's like his name is escaping me right now. But I think he used to be a linebacker in the league. What's his name? Zach. Is it Zach Bowman? Anyway, Zach something. Okay? It's going to be a chess match between Johnny Moe, Zach, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, and the like. St. Brown's looking at maximizing the 5-yard route. Hey, maximize the 2-yard route because them boys going to be coming, right? So we can't have any communication breakdowns, especially if we're down and in our own territory and our backs are against the end zone line, and we can't have that. We can't have a bunch of false starts. We have to play very sound football. Johnny Moe has to have a very similar game plan, especially as far as route concepts, for this game as he had with the Chicago Bears. Now, if you guys have remembered what I said about the Baltimore Ravens secondary, I said they have the only corner in the league that can match J-Mo in speed, and that's Nate Wiggins. And Nate Wiggins is also 6'2", so he's a long, rangy corner, and he's got the speed. Now, he's still at a disadvantage because he's backpedaling. He's running backwards, and Jameson can do all the things that he needs to do. And, again, Nate Wiggins is fast, so he's going to respect J-Mo's speed as a fellow fast person, but he's not going to think it's the end-all, be-all, right? So you might be able to catch him lacking on some double moves because he's not worried about J-Mo's speed, because he's like, I've got closing speed. I can catch this dude. Right? So you might be able to catch him over the top a little bit, but it's not just going to be solid. Jameson Williams just runs straight off the line, and he just burns Nate Wiggins. Now, if they put a Marvin Humphrey on Jameson Williams, which I doubt they would do, that just wouldn't make a lot of sense, then you kind of opening up the playbook a little bit. So I think the quick game is going to be very, very important for the Detroit Lions on offense. I don't think that you're going to be able to have a lot of long developing routes and things of this nature. I think you got to get the ball out of your hand quickly. When I watched the Bills game, albeit the Bills and albeit game number 1, I felt that if you were going to win a game against the Baltimore Ravens, it's going to have to be a shootout, and they're going to have to make a mistake. So this is another situation where ball security is super, super duper important. If you are the Detroit Lions on offense, you do not want any turnovers. You don't want any fumbles. You don't want any interceptions. Nothing. Okay? Excuse me. Oh, dang. I just finished. Oh, it's the wrong cup. Okay. Okay, but now it's finished. So you don't want to be behind the sticks. Okay, so all that stuff. Then when I was talking about, you throwing a backwards pass, you lose 2 yards, and then you're going to run it on 2nd and 12. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that on Monday. I would say don't even throw the ball backwards. Okay? We need to stay ahead of the sticks. It's very important. It's very paramount. Because you want to limit opportunities for the Baltimore Ravens and Justin Matabuke and them boys to be able to pin their ears back. You also don't want to be giving people like Kyle Hamilton and Malachi Starks and Nate Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey. You don't want to be giving those people the opportunity to get set in their coverage, right? To lock you up, to be around the ball. So I expect to see a lot of screens and a lot of quick game stuff. Just hopefully they're not the smoke screens where you just throw it out directly across your body for no gain or for a loss. Again, as I said, you got to play clean football. And all of this stuff sounds like, the cookie cutter responses, but there are teams that you can play non-clean football against. Like if you had a couple of turnovers against the Bears, does the game look different? Maybe you beat them by 28 instead of 31. I don't know. Right? Maybe it looks different if you had, some turnovers there. Maybe it looks drastically different. I don't know. But that's not the same level of team that you are going to see in the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. Uh, Limit mistakes. Limit pre-snap. Like, you can't have offsides. You can't have, not offsides. You can't have false starts. You can't have all of this stuff. Okay, so while they're at practice tomorrow, they need to be pumping in the crowd noise. Okay, you need to have these guys patrolling under the pass. You need to have them. What am I looking for? You need to have them practicing for the crowd noise. So they need to be comfortable in the crowd noise. They need to be able to communicate in the crowd noise. There needs to be a plan for how they're going to communicate. All right. So the path to, and I told you I was going to have a path. I told you I was. And I came up with it. The path to beating the Baltimore Ravens is to play perfect football on both sides of the ball and hope and pray that they don't do the same. That's my path. What y'all think about the path? I'm going to go ahead and get Zach Orr. There you go. Zach Orr. Tailor-made. All right, let me get to, I got a lot of comments I got to get to. I don't mind super chats, y'all. Y'all can get my attention. This is a huge game for Derek Barnes. Facts. After whiffing Dak in the end zone, I've been down on 55. I was too. I wanted him off the team so badly, but then he redeemed himself and single-handedly sent us to the NFC Championship game by picking up Baker Mayfield. Barnes is far too slow to spy Lamar. Need to add a third safety if it's Rock Yassin or Maddox. Either or maybe both. But either would be better. Spy for Jackson. Well, we got Malik. I don't know. Don't know his last name. We got Malik, and he was playing, second team quarterback today, spot team. He was playing all that. So now we're going to pick his brain and we'll see what happens. We'll definitely see what happens. This is an even bigger game for Shep. He's got to minimize the running attack with his LBs. Facts. Ravens sites are worried about Jameson Williams, that Van Noy is out. They said they saw Goff hit Williams in stride. Now they said they will rob J-Mo high safety. Listen, J-Mo, you're going to have to put a safety high over the top of him, but I'm telling you, Nate Wiggins runs a 4.240. Do not let that be underestimated. Nate Wiggins runs a 4.240. Okay? Again, he's a corner, so he's at a disadvantage because J-Mo knows where he's going at all times. But trust me. Let's see. Number one, remember, they didn't have a robber last time because Goff couldn't hit Williams in stride. In fact, Williams had to slow down on a bomb and DB interfered, I remember. Wiggins on Williams, Smith on St. Brown. Now what? Who's Smith? Jimmy Smith? Bro, Jimmy Smith was a dog, bro. I wanted him on the line so bad. Crazy. But at the time, 6'2" corners weren't a thing. So I got a feeling we're gonna pull this off. I just placed a bet straight up. They can keep the points. What up to SRT Dave? That secondary for the Ravens does not scare me at all. In fact, the defense don't scare me at all. This is not the Ray Lewis-led D of the past. So, again, like I said, you can score points on this defense. because I saw Josh Allen and the Bills put up 41 on him. The difference between Josh Allen and Jared Goff is that the protection of Josh Allen is not as prioritized as it is with Jared Goff. Jared Goff, in order to really make an impact in this game, has to be kept clean. And if they can't keep him clean, then we're going to have an issue. That's all. That's, it's just not going to work out well. The Ravens are on the pace for 41 a game. Well, we have to make sure that we don't that we knock them off that pace. Like Mr. Taylor made has us aware, that offense, on the other hand, that, my friend, is very scary. Super duper scary. Super duper scary. Tell folks 1,000 times you can't handle the truth. Oh, damn, yeah. Okay, Roquan Smith. I mean, Roquan, listen. I'm going to give Roquan Smith his props. But also, Fred Warner had issues with St. Brown. I don't think there's a linebacker in the league that can lock up Amon-Ra St. Brown. You may be able to get in his way. You may be able to impede his progress. I don't think you can lock him up. Does Ravens play Chase with their secondary, or do they have and right and left CB and a nickel? I think they have some. I think they play a little bit of nickel. I don't think nobody really plays base nickel though. Here's Johnny. Josh Allen don't have the weapons Goff has either, nor does he have the running game that Goff has. And that's why I said we have to get quick game. Basically, my point is that if you negate the pass rush of the Baltimore Ravens, you can put points up on them. That's my point. We can go max protect and go two-man routes if we have to. We might have to. We might have to. As I said, that Ravens defense has so many pressures. They have 38 pressures in 2 games. So, I mean, it's, again, the path is perfect football. If the Lions win, then anybody that thought that they would win, feel free to come and clown me, and I'll celebrate with you. I'm afraid of Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry together. I just don't. I don't see any goodness there. Now, the only thing I can say, all right, when they watch the tape of how the Bills defended Mahomes, I don't know, man. When they watch the tape of how the Browns defended Derrick Henry, maybe they come up with some ideas. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, if they win, I'll be ecstatic. I'll be overjoyed. I'll be celebrating just like everybody else. But I'm not confident. Not confident. I picked it as a loss. Lion King, I picked it as a loss. I picked for certain And the reason that I picked this one and the Eagles is because they have similar issues. Now, Jalen Hurts is not Lamar Jackson, but when they talk about the top two backs in the league, they generally talk about Derrick Henry and Saquon Barkley, or Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry. Now, when you go top three, that's when you enter Jahmyr Gibbs. Okay? Saquon, for Saquon, I mean, I'm not getting ahead of myself, but whenever we would play, I think we played the Giants a couple times, or at least one time I know we played them, and we bottled Saquon up. But Saquon was running behind the Giants offensive line, not the Eagles offensive line. So we'll have to see what happens on that one. But really, the only team that's been able to stop the Baltimore Ravens is the Baltimore Ravens. You know? But we'll see. You know, we're a good team, and this will be a very, very stringent litmus test as to where we are against the upper echelon teams. Because we know we can beat the lowly teams like the Chicago Bears, you know, the Commanders. We can beat the Commanders. I'm not afraid of the Commanders. So, I don't know. But we'll have to see, y'all. We definitely will have to see. Bottom feeders. We all know Caleb Ferry Williams is indeed a backup QB at best, but your coaching staff that you got thinks differently. Do you know the ones you told us was why Goff was good, remember? You're talking about Osama and them? You know, listen, the problem with Caleb Williams is a very simple one, but it's very difficult to fix. He's not a backup quarterback. He's a starting quarterback in the league. The problem is Caleb Williams came up playing hero ball, and no one ever coached it out of him. They let him keep playing it. He played it all the way through college. Now Osama is telling him about the timing offense. Those things don't work together. So you've either got to figure out how to allow him to play hero ball and not be detrimental to his team, to him really going out there and being a hero and putting the team on his back and all this and so on and so forth. Or that, you know, he goes over there to the doctor's house, yeah. He's got a another thought came into my head. So he's either got to coach that out of him, or he's got to design his offense in a way where he can actually thrive as an off-script hero ball player. That's not going to work. The coaching it out of him, that's the only way that it's going to work. And that's going to be a lot more difficult because he's been doing it for so many years. What up, though, Just a Fan? Yeah, we good. We good. He doesn't need to scan the field because he's trying to be a hero. This is the point that I've made to you. -6 is not that great for the Ravens at home. Actually, well, it moved because it was 5.5. This is what happened to Chicago, right? We were at 5.5, and then it moved for us to like 6.5, and we put 52 points on them. Anyway, mailbag. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they're reading you? Mailbag. See next, mailbag. Get your mailbag questions in. Get them in. Bask in it. Trubisky, Fields, Williams, OMG. I don't know. They might have been able to resurrect Fields over there in New York, but he's dealing with concussion issues, so he ain't playing. Uh, Next week, I think Trubisky's out of the league. Is he not? Is Trubisky on the team? I know he was backing up Josh Allen. Was it last year, a couple of years ago? Is he still on the team? I think he was last year. I think he was last year. Isn't it great to be a quarterback, to be highly drafted as a quarterback, suck at your job, and then you can just go get a cushy backup QB job? That's crazy. Where you get a Super Bowl ring and you didn't even step on the field. That's wild to me. All right. Mailbag from TaylorMade Media says, come Monday, is it Utz potato chips or Better Made for the win? That's a good question. We're gonna go Better Made. Like a Davenport. Mailbag, what is the key to a Lions victory over the Ravens? Perfect football. That's the key. Perfect football. That was what I came to as I was going through breaking down the advantages and disadvantages that we have. You have to play perfect mistake-free football. Mailbag, which team has the most pressure Monday night with the entire NFL watching? Obviously, we think it's the Detroit Lions. Because we're Lions fans. I mean, the Ravens have a whole lot of pressure as well. They're at home. They've already dropped a game. I think last season they started off 1-2, or they started off 0-2, and they wound up making the playoffs. So if this similar situation happens again, they're 1-2. I don't know. I think it'll be just the noise machine from the outside. It might be the Ravens. The Ravens' noise machine might get a little bit louder. For particular reasons, one of them being Lamar Jackson being the face of the team, and some people don't like that. So, mailbag, if number 97's wheels are at 70% and El Qadim Muhammad can't catch up to Lamar Jackson rolling right, what edge is being set? No edge. just like when you say, what's your edge depth? No edge. Mailbag, which Lions linebacker is going to take the brunt of the punishment from Derrick Henry up the middle? Jack Campbell. That's going to be Jack Campbell. And hey, he might have a water boy moment where he just knocks the snot out of Derrick Henry and Derrick Henry doesn't want to play anymore. I don't know. All right. I think that's going to be it for today, man. Appreciate y'all for coming through, hanging out, stopping by for a drinking conversation. And today, so I won't be here tomorrow. I don't know. I'm going to try to get some videos up, man. Trying to get back into my video production. But it's just about my timing and, who's in the house and the level of noise and all this stuff. So I got a lot of factors. But yeah, so stay tuned. I'm gonna try to get some videos out. I meant to put out my crash out from not my crash out, the preacher session. If you didn't see it, I'm gonna put it out for y'all to see it. No, I didn't delete it. Okay, I'm just making sure because I deleted some videos yesterday. But yeah, I'll put it out for y'all to see it, so y'all don't have to go back through um, the whole, what was it? The whole session. Um, Motown Mid says, I think Muhammad looked good last week and Hutch is shaking the rust off nicely. I think Muhammad looked good too, but we have to see what he looks like as a full-time starter because he comes in spot duty because he's a rotational piece. So now he's going to be the starter. Now we're going to see him against the run consistently. We're going to see him against the pass, so on and so forth. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right, y'all. Once again, the Motor City Cats are indeed back at it. We came to give you stats, not none of that static. Whatever you do, make sure you keep your Lions news pragmatic, and we are out. Peace.